GTV. And now it's time for this afternoon's session of Children's GBC with George Brind. And it's a special edition today as George Brind makes his final farewell to Lisa and Maggie, as Lisa and Maggie will no longer be in the Bearsons Programme. So here he is with your favourite programmes for our younger viewers.
Hello everybody, my name is George Brind and welcome to this special edition of Children's GBC. A very special one indeed to mark a farewell to Lisa and Maggie Simpson, who, from what I've been told, will no longer be appearing in the Bearsons Programme. And, well, basically, we are going to be marking this farewell by presenting to you 8 programmes, and our first one is Teletubbies, and I know that we've recently said we will no longer be airing Teletubbies on Children's GBC, but just for you, Maggie, this is going to be shown to you right now, and this particular episode from 1997 is called Little Baby, so enjoy.
And that programme was Maggie's favourite programme, and this was a good way to say farewell to Maggie, as Maggie will no longer be in the Bearsons Programme. And I'm sure that we'll have another programme which is coming up next.
And our next programme also concerns babies. This is Play Days with the Play Bus, and we're at the Poppy Stop today. And, well, like I said, this episode is all about babies.
It's the Play Bus! But where does it go? Where does it stop? Watch for the sign of the lollipop. Stop! It's the Poppy Stop. There we are, Rock. After a baby soon. See you next time. Bye-bye.
And that particular programme of Playdays was another reminder of Maggie. As I said, Maggie is no longer in the Bearsons Programme, and I'm sure that we've got Sooty & Co. next.
And our next programme now is Sooty & Co. And today's episode is called Sue's Babies. The question is Sue really going to be having a baby? Or is she just pretending to tease Matthew? Let's find out in this particular episode of Sooty & Co., which was renowned for being quite controversial.
Hey ho, it's Sooty and Co. Everybody say hello. There's Sooty and Sweet, a panda called Sue, and little cousin Scampy. There'll be fun galore with the terrible four. Just you wait and see. It's Sooty and Company. Sooty and Company.
Good morning, madam. Now, don't stand at the back there. Come nice and close. You see these beans?
And that particular programme was so controversial, and I'm sure that we'll never broadcast this episode again. But don't worry, we've got a better programme, and that's next here on Children's GBC.
And now it's time for Thomas and Friends, with today's episode introducing Daisy the Diesel Rail Car. And this episode in particular was chosen for today's edition of Children's GBC because, well, as well, George Buxton has told me, within the reality of the Bearsons universe, Lisa has quite recently come off as a spoiled brat, which I guess, to be fair, all of us can be sometimes as human beings. Anyway, well, let's see how Daisy does in her first entry for Thomas and Friends. From one classic children's programme to another classic children's programme, we now have Postman Pat, and today's episode is called Pat's Thirsty Day. But just how thirsty is he? I guess it depends on how much of a hot day it is in Greendale today. Well, let's see.
Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white cat. Early in the morning, just as day is dawning, he picks up all the post bags in his van. Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white cat. All the birds are singing, and the day. Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white cat.
Fireman Sam now, and coming home from Rome, are Norman Price and his mother Dillis. But, meanwhile, Bella might be in a bit of trouble at a department store. It's really quite interesting how the Pontypandy Fire Brigade was the one to rescue Bella from the Bingles department store in Cardiff rather than, well, say the Cardiff Fire Brigade. Though, well, considering this programme is all about Fireman Sam and the Pontypandy Fire Brigade, it might as well be them who comes to Bella Lasagna's rescue. But anyway, our next programme now is Bodger and Badger, and today's episode is called The Baby. Let's see what this one's all about, shall we?
Chocolate on the windowsill. That's what they said.
Everywhere he goes, Bodger always knows. Badger and his badger mates never far away. Bodger and Badger, Bodger and Badger. La 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 la. Bodger and Badger are never far away.
And our final programme for this special edition of Children's GBC is Chuckle Vision. And in this episode, Paul and Barry Chuckle are assigned to look after a baby. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say a baby, but they are babysitting a child. But just how do they manage to babysit? And, well, is this child going to be quite a troublesome one? Well, let's find out in today's episode of Chuckle Vision.
You make sure you go straight off to sleep now. I don't want to hear you've been any trouble to the babysitters.
Add that particular episode of Chuckle Vision, well, you could say there were some reminders of Lisa and Maggie this time, because even though Lisa was only 8 years old and Maggie was just a baby, well, that program's perfect. Oh, and just a reminder, that on a Friday afternoon, that we'll have more episodes of Chuckle Vision, which is coming up this Friday here on Children's GBC.
Well, that brings us to the end of this special edition here on Children's GBC. And Lisa and Maggie, if you're watching this, I hope you enjoyed the programmes that we presented for you today. And once again, I'd like to say farewell to your time on the Bearsons. And from what I understand, you will be returning to Springfield. And I hope that, you will enjoy your time back in Springfield, as well as other adventures you might get up to by the time you're back there. Well, with the Simpsons, I should say. But anyway, in the meantime, I've been George Brind, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Is GTV, and now it's time for the fourth episode of The Bradshaws, and today's episode is all about Open Wide. But I believe that there is a certain white cat that's gone missing, so will Billy be able to find him again? Well, let's go and join them to find out.
Big Chief Hicksy Bum is just gonna shoot a harrow, but please don't do us push it.
This is GTV, and now it's time to head on down to Ramsey Street yet again for Neighbours, and let's hope that Posh is not lost in there. Ouch. Here's Neighbours.